your dad does not enjoy being around a campfire too much. As pretty as it is to just sit and watch it flicker and burn around, it does get a bit too warm, and your dad is not a big fan of getting too warm. But it is very relaxing to watch it from a safe distance. Good thing though, the breeze is nice and chilly. I'm just going to give myself a couple of minutes to relish it, and we will begin our lessons. I hope you're ready, kiddo. I'm sure you know this, kiddo, because you've been doing great at school, which I'm very proud of you for. But there are a whole lot of stars out there. So many wonderful little dots sparkling endlessly across the night sky. I'm sure you've noticed, sometimes, some of them make a little pattern. And tonight, we are going to look at a few constellations. Now, you might be wondering, what's the point of that? It's all random stars out there. Well, there is something beautiful about seeing the same little shapes when you look up again and again every night. Well, it's not every night technically, but pretty darn often. It's sort of like a map of what's out there. Practically never changes. Now, I'm going to drop something I've been thinking about for a long time now, and it is a little spooky, but I want you to hear it. This beautiful, endless visage, it'll outlive us all. And I'm not going to lie to you. It is a very scary thought. But the more I think about it, kiddo, it becomes less and less morbid. In fact, at this point, it's a whole lot of comfort knowing that my parents, my grandparents, my grandparents' parents, you, kiddo, your kids, your grandkids, should you choose to have any, of course, they're all pretty much going to see the same set of stars. Those same wonky little patterns that you or I are about to see. So I want to make sure that you know what some of these constellations are. So one day, you can pass on that knowledge. You can keep that connection going across all of us, across time itself. Okay, I may have upped the ante there a bit, but I hope you're not too intimidated by all this. It's just a little bit of fun, and I guess I've thought about it a lot. Don't worry, kiddo. We're just going to look at the sky and figure out a few patterns, all right? I just want you to be able to share the joy in looking up at the deep, infinite sky. That's it. Okay, so I want you to look up. Try to spot the first pattern you can see. Anything that kind of remotely looks like something. Oh, I see you found the Big Dipper. That is a great one to find. Well, you don't technically call it a constellation. It's something called an asterism. It's like a pattern inside a bigger constellation, because the Big Dipper is a part of the constellation called the Ursa Major, the Great Bear. But it is the perfect starting point, because there was a term for it. I think it's called... It's circumpolar. I just know that it never sets. It just kind of wheels around the sky all night, every night of the year, at least in the northern hemisphere. So it'll always be up there. Ooh, there's also a neat little trick you can do with the Big Dipper. You take the two stars on the outer edge of the bowl, those two right there. You draw kind of an imaginary line up out of the bowl, follow that line, and it lands on Polaris, the North Star, which is also the tip of the handle of the Little Dipper, part of the Ursa Minor, the little bear. The cool thing about the North Star is it barely moves all night. The entire sky kind of rotates around it, which is why sailors and explorers, they used it to find north for thousands of years. And that's where the name comes from, kiddo. There's also a story behind the two bears. Beyond the dipper shapes in Greek mythology, a nymph named Callisto was turned into a bear. and her son nearly hunted her by accident. So Zeus, the god of thunder, flung them both into the sky as the great bear and the little bear. Kids would always ask why the bears have such long tails when real bears don't. The answer is pretty simple. Zeus stretched them when he swung them up by their tails. On a side note, different cultures have different names and different stories for the same constellations, or at least pretty simple ones. For example, in Arabic astronomy, it's called Al-Na'ashan. In Chinese astronomy, it's called Baido. I'm really hoping I didn't butcher those pronunciations. I've tried practicing them, but maybe somebody can tell me one day. In Western cultures, it's called the bear, the plow, the wagon, all depending on the stories from those lands. I'm pretty sure that every culture around the world, at different stages of its history, they all had a name, a story, for the same things we all see. Some explanation to what they see in the sky. Something about that is just so damn beautiful. I would list out more, but these two names are all I've got right now. And to be told, Dad's proud of himself for actually remembering these two, because I do not speak any Arabic or Chinese, let alone pronounce them right. So that's a win for me, kiddo. Maybe if we had any reception right now, I'd probably check out a few more, but, a win's a win. All right. I want you to look down here away from the dippers. Do you see that big W in the sky? Well, that constellation is Cassiopeia, the vain queen. So, the story behind Cassiopeia is a dramatic tale of vanity and divine punishment. Cassiopeia was the vain, beautiful queen of Ethiopia, the wife of King Cephas. Her downfall began when she unwisely boasted that she and her daughter Andromeda were more beautiful than even the Nereids, the 50 immortal sea nymphs who served Poseidon. So, deeply offended by her arrogance, the nymphs, they demanded Poseidon punish the queen. The sea god obliged by either flooding the kingdom or unleashing Cetus, a terrifying sea monster, to ravage the Ethiopian coast. Desperate to save the land, Cephas and Cassiopeia consulted the oracle of Zeus, who revealed that the only way to appease the gods was to sacrifice Andromeda to the monster. And how does the rest of it go? Oh yeah, I remember. So Andromeda was chained to a coastal rock to await her doom. Fortunately, the hero Perseus happened to fly by on his winged horse, Pegasus. He fell in love with the princess, slew Cetus, and saved Andromeda. But, despite the happy rescue, Poseidon felt Cassiopeia should not escape without consequence. As punishment for her hubris, the gods placed Cassiopeia in the heavens, tied to a throne. She's doomed to spin eternally around the celestial pole, appearing upside down for half the year as a symbol of her humility, and forced to cling to her chair for dear life. This is one of those stories my dad told me when I was a kid, and for some reason, it's out of all the stories he's told me, this one just stuck to me like glue, so I remember most of the details. I have to check if I missed anything, but I think I got the gist of it. And I hope you enjoyed hearing it, kiddo. Because I have one more for the same constellation, a Hindu myth. Because in Hindu mythology, this constellation is called Sharmistha, who is the daughter of a devil, a Daitya, called King Rishabharva. She was also the best friend and later, due to the twist of fate, the maidservant of Devayani, the daughter of a sage, Shukracharya. The legend involves a fascinating little love triangle. So while bathing in the pool, Sharmistha accidentally wore Devayani's royal clothes, and an argument broke out over their social status. And then enraged Sharmistha pushed Devayani into a dry well. King Yayati, a human ruler, who is also represented by the Perseus constellation we can't see that right now, which is unfortunate, discovered Devyani and helped her out of the well. And because King Yayati held his hand out to pull her out, Devyani invoked an ancient tradition to demand that he marry her. And so, Yayati married Devyani, but he also fell in love with Sharmista. I think there was a bit more to this legend, but the other details evade me, and this is all I remember. But yeah, the three constellations, Sharmista, Devyani, and King Yayati, in Hindu mythology, are also Cassiopeia, Andromeda, and Perseus in the Greek mythology. I really should look into more cultures and their stories. Like, it's so fascinating that these same shapes, these same speckles in the sky, have so many different interpretations by so many different people. All right, we are in luck because the last constellation I can see is my favorite one. Do you see those three stars over there in a line? Now that there is Orion's belt. Now the rest of the stars are a bit dimmer, but if you pay close attention, you can see the shape of what is roughly a man. Now Orion is known as a hunter, and those three bright stars make his belt. Nothing else in the sky looks like that. And below the belt hangs his sword, which contains the Orion Nebula. It's kind of like a fuzzy patch. It's a star nursery, you could say. It looks great even through binoculars, I'm not going to lie. You don't need a telescope for it. Now, you can also hop onto some of the brightest stars in the sky from here. The red one there, well, doesn't look too red, but that's Betelgeuse. And the white one, well, bluish white, that's Regal. I wish I even knew what Orion's story was. Damn, if only we had some internet service here. But hey, three constellations. I will be quizzing you about this soon, so don't you dare forget. I'm kidding, kiddo. I want you to find your own intrigue in this, if you ever feel it. And if you have any questions or you want to come back and look at more stars, we can always do that. But now, your lesson's over. How about we lie back, enjoy our s'mores, and watch a few meteors just whiz through the sky if we're lucky. Nothing like a moment of peace with my favorite person in the world.